Good day to everybody. Today we are here for the second lessons on corporate scenarios and strategies of international business development for SMEs. And I hope that this lesson will result good for entrepreneurs as well as for bankers. We are going to talk about motivation to internationalize. The outline of the lessons are major internationalization motivation for small and medium-sized firms, internationalization stages, categories of firms potentially exporters, meaning the partially interested firms, the exploring firms, the experimental exporter, the experienced more exporter. Let's start with a few sentences with regard to those firms which are interested in exporting. Most firms start their international involvement with exporting. Most exporters are small and medium-sized firms. Why these two things? Okay, the most easy way to start to get internationalized is to find a product and a market where to simply exporting the product. And why most exporters are small and medium-sized firms? It is much easier and practical for a very small firm to find out a market where to export the ready-to-go products. And then we will focus on the basic appetite for exporting. We will discuss the change agents, both internal and external, and the concerns. We will also present models of export development process. And this is something that will result quite important both for entrepreneurs and bankers, where bankers should focalize how to support entrepreneurs in their internationalization activities. Major internationalization motivation for small and medium-sized firms. We have two main categories, the proactive firms and the reactive firms. For those belonging to the proactive category, we have profit advantages, unique products, technological advantage, exclusive information, managerial urge, tax benefit, economies of scale. While for reactive firms, we have competitive pressure, overproduction, declining domestic sales, excess capacity, saturated domestic sales, proximity to customer, proximity to ports. Okay, the proactive firm is basically a firm which has been finding some good reasons for going outside the border for selling. Few words we can talk about. Unique products. We can think about the production of very sophisticated electronic items. Apple, for example. They have unique products and they are exporting everywhere. Managerial urge is a strong management interested in going abroad. Tax benefit could be another strong issue for a proactive company. They have benefits in exporting, as in many countries and many situations there are tax benefits given to those which are exporting. Economy of scale, good reason for going abroad. If I have some products which can result good domestically and internationally, I can make economy of scale by exporting them. Companies which are reactive to some situation, which nowadays can be competitive pressure on domestic market, or the case of overproduction. I have an excess of production, I don't know where to place in the domestic market. I will be reacting by trying to find out market outside the country for exporting. A phenomena which is nowadays very common in Europe is the declining of domestic sales. We said already some lessons ago that the capacity of absorbing production of domestic markets in Europe is not so great nowadays, so there are a lot of reasons for trying to sell them outside. Then there are geographical factors, proximity to customers and proximity to port. If I am located in a country which is facing the sea and my company is located nearby ports, or I have a company that is located nearby foreign customers, it will be making a lot of sense for me to think about going abroad and exporting my production. Now we are going to see some internationalization stages. Internationalization, as we said already, is a gradual stage, particularly if we are thinking to large markets. And rarely firms are expressly formed to engage in international business. This is quite important to be underlined. It's not very frequent that a company is established since the very beginning for directing its own production abroad, international meaning. Companies are normally established for taking care of domestic market capacity of absorption of the products. But, as I said already, in certain geographical areas where there are many other countries, neighborhood, it's good to start up even thinking to a potential option to export production. An exception can be when the recognition that the domestic economy is too small to support the activities of a firm and large resources are available, like South Africa, for example, Finland, and I may add Switzerland. You know, there are certain countries which by geographical definition are so small that doesn't make any sense to start up business thinking only to domestic market. This is quite peculiar, and I think that if we do speak also by regions, as countries have sometimes region inside themselves, there are certain regions which are at the border, regions which are more inclined to export than others. So now we are going to see which are the categories of firms potentially exporters. We have a category that we may call the partially interested firm, the exploring firms, the experimental exporter, and the experienced small exporters. Of course, these are not really all the categories of firms which may start trying to export, but I decided to categorize these firms in this manner. So let's start with the partially interested firm. What is a partially interested firm? It is a firm that has annual sales volume below 5 million and fewer than 100 employees. Now, these figures, these dimensions are designed with regard to Europe, but it is quite easy then to decline with regard to your own country and to your own regions, as sometimes 100 employees could stand as too many, but is anyway a good example. So the current average annual export volume is below 200,000 US dollar, which is sold to fewer than 10 customers. So in few words, this is a relatively small company which has a relatively small number of customers outside the country, less than 10 customers. The president of the firm has the most input in the export decision. So it's a company where most probably the president of the company is also the owner of the company. It is the unique sole decision maker. The management knows that the firm has exportable product, and this is another important issue. They have been making their homework, they have been studying the marketing capacities and the neighborhood countries, so they know that what they are producing can be exported. The management tends to believe that exporting may be a desirable activity. So the management knows that there is a potential. There is a potential on the product. There is a potential on the foreign market in proximity. So they want to do it. The main motivation for exporting are a unique product and profit advantage. So out from the marketing research they have made, they found that there is a market for their product, which is standing as a unique, and there are some money reasons for doing it. I mean, money-driven reasons. Areas that the firm tends to see as being to some degree of problem in the export effort are financing, how to get financing for producing more and exporting, information on business practice. They have a little knowledge of what are the rules for exporting, and they don't have practice, as they haven't been exporting yet. Another thing where they need support and help, and this can come also from the banking sector, they don't have communication experience, and probably also some languages problem. Providing of technical advice. They need technical advice that they don't have previous experience. As we said, probably they need advice on packaging, on labeling, etc. They need advice on sales effort, as they know that the product is good, can be sold outside the country, but they have no experience in selling outside yet. The firms believe that outsiders can be of substantial help to their export effort by assisting with obtaining financial information, financing documentation, documentation handling, communication, and funds transfer. And here is really where the bank can be and should be of help to the company. They can assist them in obtaining financial information, export credit, tools which are good for facilitating the financial requirement of exporting. The bank could provide them guidelines and support on documentation handling, how to handle packaging list, bill of exchange, and things of this kind. And last but not least, also on fund transfer. You know, we are going to talk again on fund transfer, the risk of exchange, different currencies. But for sure, these are topics where the bank should provide support. The exploring firm. The exploring firm. We are talking about firms which are belonging to this category, where most firms in this stage have an annual sales volume below 10 million, and they have more than 100 employees. So we are talking about a company that in terms of size is a little bit bigger than the previous one we have seen. These firms export about $500,000 worth of merchandise to fewer than 20 customers. We saw that before it was 200,000 and customers were fewer than 10. So it's a company which has a bigger potential and is directing to a wider market. The desirability of exporting is well known. The firm has exportable products. The firm is planning of exporting and is actively exploring export possibility. So as we said, we are facing a firm which has built up a certain experience. They know that their product is exportable, and there is not only the president or a few people inside the company which are interested to export the production of the firm. And the firm has a program for exporting, and they know that they have possibility for doing it. They know also that past exports have not met expectation, so meaning that they know that they have a bigger potential that they could explore. And the important area of sensitivity are still those like communication. They should learn how to better communicate outside the country. They should know how better perform a sale efforts. And they have to gather marketing information gathering better. Information on business practices, financial information. And these are still information that also bank could provide to them. Especially I'm thinking about marketing information, where banks have a lot of database, information on business practices, where banks are masters, and of course financial information, which is the typical job of a bank. Therefore, outside assistance is seen as available in the areas of obtaining information on business practices, marketing information, documentation handling, and communication. With regard to communication, we may add that, as it was said, languages, sometimes it is a problem. The knowledge of foreign languages, the capacity of handling and promoting business in a language that is different from the home country language is really an obstacle in many times. But is one-shot issue, as once you have organized yourself in preparing a nice and decent communication, it will be good for and lasting for a long time. Also, marketing information. You know, marketing information are very important at the very beginning for identifying what is the best market where to go, but then once you have identified the market, and what the customers are requiring, and the transformation you have to make to your production is, when it is done, it will be lasting for quite a long time. Now let's see the exploring firm implementation stages. So the exploring firm should be entering into an agreement with a specialized agency, should collect books, CD-ROMs, and online bulletin containing general market data. And these are the things that are requested, but also where banks can provide support. I mean, specialized agencies are those which are promoting export. In many countries, there are specialized agencies which are set up by the government, national or regional, in order to help local companies to get global and to export production. There are also super and multinational agencies like UNIDO or others which have programs for putting companies of different countries in contact and to promote the exchange of goods and services among them. Books, CD-ROMs, and online bulletins, now that we live in a very sophisticated world, and the web is helping us very much, through this information is quite easy to get information about markets which are outside our own country. Last but not least, this company can try to have cooperation with universities and associations. Association of categories of producers, they do gather themselves data, information, which are then made available to the participant. Also, universities are making studies, research on foreign markets. So by getting closer to these entities, it will be very cheap and quite easy for the firm to collect the information which are needed. Another category of firms is the experimental exporter. Most firms in this category have an annual sales volume of less than 5 million, and they have fewer than 100 employees. So they are middle range between the one we saw before and the very first one. They have average export of about 750,000, and they do have shipment with about 10 customers. So is a company that produces more but still has very few foreign customers. Export is seen as a strategic tool, but little activity exploration of export possibility takes place. So they know that they have the potential, but for the time being, they have not been doing enough. And here, especially, is where a bank should provide, could provide support to them by putting them in touch with other firms which have already made export experience, and they are working in homogeneous segment of market. Important exporting problems are seen in the areas of sale effort, obtaining financial information, physical product adaptation, marketing information gathering, and information on business practice. So here, situation is not that far from those which I've seen already, but what they need more is physical product adaptation. We said already in another lessons that sometimes products have to be adapted for being sold outside a country. They should be adapted on the need of the final customer. Just few examples. There are colors which are attractive in certain countries and which are not at all attractive in other countries. I think one of the most common examples is black, that in Europe, mostly in Europe, black is linked to funeral and to sad situation, while white is not, and in China it's just the opposite, vice versa. So, and also dimension, size, if you are a shoe maker and you produce nice shoes, the size of shoes you are selling in Europe is probably much more bigger than what is needed in China. So these kind of companies, they know that the product is good for being exported, but they need piece of advices in order to change, adapting physically their product to the needs, the demand of foreign customers. Business practice, again, business practice is something that they should need, they have to grow, they have to understand how to get financing, how to get financial support, and how to handle export document or import document. And here is where the bank can be really of assistance, or they must be of assistance to them. Outside assistance is necessary in all these areas. I said already, this company is a company that needs to be supported, taken by hands, and conducted abroad. Another issue, experimental exporter implementation strategies. So they have to appoint intermediaries to enhance foreign purchasing request of product manufactured by this firm. So this firm has not the capacity of going abroad, and so they have to rely on somebody who is locally, physically located in the foreign country, and as an intermediary is going to develop their capacity of adjusting the products of the firm in order to cope with the local needs. They have to increase participation in exhibition and fairs abroad, as they have to understand the local market needs, but especially they have to show their production to the foreigners. And also here, some agencies like UNIDO and others, and the banks can really help them in this promotion activity by organizing multi-sector fairs, participation, or supporting them with financial support, as to go and to participate to exhibition abroad is quite a costly experience. They have to search contacts and appoint local intermediaries to carry out initial contacts. I said a little bit already. You know, they have this language problem, probably also, so they need to have an intermediary, a local intermediary, that is developing at least the very initial, the very first contact. They need tax information to try to deduct cost incurred in product adaptation. This is probably not belonging to all situations, but sometimes when you produce things for being exported, you have some fiscal benefits provided, and you need advice how to get these benefits. And also here, banks are one of the channels for getting this information. The experienced small exporter. We are talking about a firm which has average annual sales volume below 10 million and employs still fewer than 100 people. The export volume is in the range of 1.5 million, and they ship to an average of 10 customers. The marketing manager gives a strong input for decision making. Exporting is seen in a very favorable light, and only the past profitability of export is called into question. So we are talking about a company which has already structured itself, as they have a marketing manager which is oriented to export. Everybody is looking to export in a very favorable light, but they are questioning, they are wondering about the previous result, as the experience they've made in the past was not very profitable yet. The experienced small exporter implementation strategies. Let's see what they need. They need outside assistance as important in this area for obtaining financial information, communication, and financing. Again, financing. This is a crucial issue where the bank is the main player. Banks should support these companies by providing financing and financial information. Financial information about how to get and to assess soft loan and grants for supporting this kind of activity. Do not forget that I've been mostly talking about exports, but you know, everything that is said with regard to export stands also for import. As you know, in many cases, both phases are present at the same time inside a firm. Importing raw material, transforming the raw material into a product, and then selling abroad the product. So these kind of companies, which are very, very many, and it is very common, they need support, financial support, financial advice, and information and on practices on both sides. Firstly importing and then exporting. The key area is financial assistance rather than firms in a lower stage. You know, it's not a secret that as much as you expand your activities, especially international activity, as much as you will be in need of financial assistance. And as I said already, financial assistance is normally provided by the banking industry and by banks, experts. So that's another reason for having specialized people inside banks in order to be ready and capable and effective in providing financial advice to the companies which are either importing and or exporting. They need an increased cooperation with government and the banking sector that will help to satisfy these needs, financial credits, buyer credits, etc. This is the key, really. These companies which have started already, they need really to be well supported by the government, where government means national, regional, and banking sector, as they are the only two entities which can cope and satisfy their needs. They need also training seminar on export will be of value for the firm at this stage. I mean, on export and or on import, of course. Requests of financial need information need to be addressed rapidly and accurately. This is a strong issue. If a company is buying outside the country, I mean is importing, and they have a special price offer which is lasting 10 days, 30 days, and they need financial support from the bank should be in a position to give answer rapidly and accurately, meaning yes, not, in a week, in 10 days. This is what is needed by the entrepreneur. He has to get a steady answer in a very short period of time. Otherwise, he's going to lose business opportunity, or is committing himself or herself into transaction which then cannot be fulfilled.